Cam, welcome back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. Cam, it's been a day since the match with Newcastle, the unfortunate defeat, first defeat of the season. I think we all knew that was coming. What's your thoughts? I want to talk about the positives, really. So people always say on this podcast, you're too negative. So first of all, let's start on the positives. What positives did you get, if any, from that match?
Well, it's kicked off on time. That was a positive. I mean, the second kit looked pretty smart. I like the second kit. That was a positive. I'm really struggling to come up with a real positive here because, it was probably the game that summed up everything that we've been saying since January of this year, actually. And I think everything that we said has really come to sort of like all come together in this game. That's my view anyway. But positives, wow.
Let me give you some. What did you think of Wilson Odobert?
I thought that's definitely not a positive for me. I think he was cumbersome. He was slow, very slow to cross, lost possession too often. Didn't seem to be a good fit into the team.
Okay, let me give you a positive. What about your favourite player, Brennan Johnson, when he came on in the second half? He looked lively. He was beating people. He was getting crosses in. Wasn't that a positive?
Yeah, that's definitely a positive. I was about to come on and say Brennan Johnson looked a lot better than Odobert when he came on. I'm trying to think of another positive. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a positive. Dragusin, I thought Dragusin really grew into the game. I thought he looked really good, really sharp. Some of his last-minute interceptions probably kept the game at 2-1. The more he plays, and I'm sure the more games he gets, he'll be a really top-class signing for us.
He's a key part of cog in our machine, and if he's not there, it weakens us seriously. So do you think we could have won that match if Van der Ven was playing?
I don't think so. Would Van der Ven have made a difference? With that very high line that we play, you would think so. Potentially, he could have made a difference, especially when that second goal. Would he have been fast enough to catch them? But it's the way that we get caught out regularly, and also it's probably one of the reasons behind his consistent and long-term injuries is the way that we play and that high line that we play. So we can expect.
Why is he getting so many? I mean, there's an injury curse at Tottenham. I mean, we're diverging here, but Solanke played 38 games, not injured at all for Bournemouth last season. Here, plays one game, he's out for 2 games. I mean, what is going on?
Well, you could put it down to bad luck, to be honest with you. You could put it down to the Tottenham curse, or you could put it down to the fact that Solanke probably had a look around and realised the kind of service he's going to get and the expectations he's got, and thought I'd be better off being cropped for most of the season. Same goes for Richarlison. I mean, we've got these 2 players that we paid so much money for, and for such little return.
If Solanke was there, do you think we would have won the match? Would he put away some of those chances?
That's impossible to say.
So, I mean, before we get onto the match, what about the transfer window? Were you sort of surprised that we didn't sign anybody, or was it what you expected? We've done a lot of business getting Deadwood out of the club, so that's pretty good. It
is. Sorry,
did you expect anybody to come in?
No, I didn't. I think that once you made that statement by signing Solanke, but basically spent up. I mean, the main question is for that 65 million, could we have got a better player? We don't know what his wages are. We don't know how much he's being paid. But I think it really sticks in people's throats to know how much money has been spent. Apparently, we spent 150 million in this transfer window. Personally, I can't see it, but apparently that's what we spent. And
is that net spend or is that total spend?
I think that's total spend, and I mean,
because we got a lot of money for other players coming in. So I'd be.
I mean, we sold what's his name, Lo Celso for 3 million.
It's like giving him away, basically. Yeah. How much did we buy him for? 15 million, or 45 million. Anyway, I think let's move on now. Let's move on to the match. This is what I've been waiting for. Your analysis of the match.
Well, I think just starting off with the first half, yes, we had a lot of possession. That's good. One thing that Tottenham has proven to everybody this year is that possession doesn't win games. So one of the things that we were always attacking, say Mourinho and Conte for, was lack of possession, giving away the ball. But really, what football is about winning and about scoring goals. Tottenham teams have always been really good at scoring. In this game, it didn't never look like scoring, and actually we didn't score in this game, did we? It was an own goal that we got that 1 goal from. And this has been a really, really big problem for us. I thought starting from the back, working our way to the midfield, the back 4, probably with the line that they were playing, the type of game they were playing, the centre-backs were okay. Udogie, I don't know what's happened to him this season. Nothing like the player that started off at the beginning of last season. No idea who that is, what's going on there. And Pedro Porro, exactly what we expected. Except Porro was refusing to put in any crosses. Don't put in crosses, you don't get any chances. And again, I don't know what's going on there. The midfield, he loves the pairing of Sarr and Bissouma, and I don't get that at all, especially the kind of players that we bought in. We bought in Gray, we bought in Bergwijn, we bought in, and we got Bentancur was fit.
How do you
So
think
that was
Sarr and
the
Basuma performed?
I don't think they did practically very much. I think they lost the midfield battle, to be honest with you, to Newcastle all the time. Yes, they held on to possession, but where was that possession and what were we actually doing with the ball when we had all that possession? Not very much at all. I think going forward, I mean, we had some chances in the first half. The stats proved that we had more shots on target than Newcastle did and more shots off target. However, the chances that Newcastle had, they had a fair few good chances that they had to score, and our chances just didn't seem so clear cut, or we were just unable to take them. We were sort of left to peppering from outside the box, and yeah, you can get a good chance. And Sarr had a fantastic shot, but it was direct at the keeper, and he saved it pretty well. But I mean, how often do you really get to score outside the box when you have such a strong line in front of you? However, Newcastle aren't well known this season for their defending, but we made them pointed out to them in that first half to be really good defenders. So first half, not really that impressed. We went in 1-0 down, from what I recall. Inevitably, it was coming. A beautiful, smooth move. Great play from Newcastle. But again, Spurs just left flat-footed, staring at us. We looked like we were just watching the game go by us. I mean, we made them look better than they were, but we can't fight it. It was fully deserved. I think that we had no chance of getting back into that game after that. Personally, we did get back in the second half. I thought that the goal was more luck than anything else. The player, son that was behind, was it Dunk that put it in? Oh no, not Dunk, whoever he was, but it was didn't have any chance of getting it.
Lewis Dunk now playing for. No, it was Dan Burn.
Dan Burn, that's it.
But what do you think about Son's performance? I mean, I don't think he did anything at all in that game, did he?
Completely innocuous. But then he's been played in all sorts of different positions. I don't know what the thinking of the manager is. What is he actually? What's Postecoglou thinking? He gets the players. I mean, Kulusevski looked awful. Absolutely,
yeah, really bad.
I don't want to think about the front line. That's why I said we didn't look like we were scoring. Son looked like he didn't know what team he was playing for, let alone where he was playing. He was that bad. I mean, Son was the kind of player that you would expect to actually rise to the occasion. I think it was his brother turned up because he looked like he'd stayed at home. There was no Son there at all. That was an awful performance. And then you put in Odebert in his first. Well, I think it was his first start for us in a game against Newcastle, which really, to me, and this is the crux of the matter, right? That any intentions of doing anything this season, we had to win that game. I know it's early on, only 3 games in, but if you're really intent on being one of the top 6, one of the big teams, and you really want to do a challenge for something, you got to be able to beat Newcastle, especially with our history at Newcastle in the last few years, right?
Well, this is an improvement, isn't it? We lost 6-1, 4-0, and now it's 2-1, so we're getting better there.
They're getting worse. I mean, look at a player like that. We signed Solanke for 65 million. I think they bought Isak for 40 million, right? I mean, world of difference in class. I mean, the class is such a big gulf that I would put Solanke as a second division player compared to someone like Isak, who could get into any Champions League team. And that is where it's gone wrong for Tottenham. Now, I would like to say one more thing, just finishing off on the game. No doubt that we were going to get caught out. We play a high line. We mess around in midfield with the ball as if that wins matches. It clearly doesn't. Newcastle took the ball off us. Again, another mistake from Spurs. And beautiful ball straight through the middle, run on goal, passed it, slotted it. And I think it was Isak that just slotted it in.
Yeah.
Just simple goal.
Let me ask you one thing, Cam. Do you think we've got an issue at the goalkeeper won't come out for crosses and can't punch very well and all that? So we're susceptible at set plays and corners and things like that. Is that a realistic worry?
Yeah, it is, because you're going to play the highlight. You need a goalkeeper that can sweep up. You need a goalkeeper that can pick up from where his defense. I mean, look at where they were when they were literally everybody was up at the halfway line when the pass went in and they got behind us and actually basically had a free run on goal. I mean, look at how much we'd squeezed up. You can only do that if you've got the players and the tactical awareness to be able to cope.
This is what I think it happens. I mean, it's okay when you've got Mickey van der Ven sweeping up with his amazing pace, but when his pace is not there and you still play the same formation and tactics, then you're going to...
Like you said, Ray, last year, at the beginning of the season. At some stage, they're going to suss him out. Great when he came in at first, with the inverted wingers coming in and everything being all of 9 people up front and all that sort of crap, right? But what happened when they suddenly realized all of the space that they were leaving behind them and on the side that got exploited, and then Postecoglou hasn't got a clue. He's got one way to play, and he has no other way to play at all. So it works against a lot of the lower teams that don't have the pace or don't have some of the tactical teams that will probably be after teams in the league, and we'll lose to the other half. So, we'll be 10 if we're lucky. We are 10 now, I believe.
I was looking at a lot of the forums, a lot of Facebook groups and Twitter, and a lot of people saying he'll be gone by Christmas. What's your view on that? Do you think Postecoglou is going to be gone by Christmas?
I mean, do you see, right, we've got 1 win, 1 loss, and one draw. He's got all 3, right, under his belt there again from 3 games. We played 1 good team in Newcastle, 1 awful team in Everton that Bournemouth set a record against by scoring 3 goals, I think, in the last 3 minutes to beat them. And we have played a mediocre Leicester team that got easily beaten at home by Aston Villa, something that we could not do. So there we are. Let's look at it, take it in that context. Who do you see us beating in the top 10? The way that we're playing in
Obviously, we're going to struggle against all of them. So Man United, we're going to struggle. Arsenal, I think we're not going to win at all with Arsenal unless we maybe could get a draw, but I think we'll probably lose that. We're going to struggle against a lot of these teams. So what's going to happen? I mean, if by Christmas we're sort of languishing in mid-table, do you think that's going to be good enough for Rand, or do you think he's going to be on his way?
I don't think. I mean, the thing is his attitude too. By the way, that he's already. Every time he talks on the camera, he stares at his shoes. If you notice, it's always like this.
And he's always got that cough. But I don't know if he's not feeling well and all that, but he's always got a cough. We're playing well, mate. We're doing all the things we should, Dave. We've got to put the ball away, mate. Yeah, what are you doing to make sure we do put the ball away?
He's got nothing to say. I think my biggest problem with Postecoglou is the fact that he makes good players worse, and he makes Bentancur, one of our best players.
He's made him worse.
Well, Richarlison, I would say, but what's the point of that?
He was bad anyway, wasn't he?
Son's being played all over the place and out of position. He went from being joint top scorer a couple of seasons ago, with Salah to, I mean, what can I say?
Some would argue that Maddison was exceptional at Leicester. Now he's come to Tottenham. He's gone downhill as well, hasn't he?
Well, I was just about to come on to Maddison and say one of England's top gifted technical players with a lot of skill, a lot to offer. One of the best players specifically on free kicks and set plays. I don't think I've seen a goal from Maddison on set plays yet. Have you? No. So that's one thing. Technically, get his skill on the ball, going in right to the byline and running that line and getting the ball across. I haven't seen much of that this season or end of last season. And just doesn't seem to be that kind of player as gifted as he was when he started or when he was at Leicester.
Pedro Porro's another one. What about Kulusevski? Has he got worse because he was on fire when Conte signed him? Or has he just been stuffed out by the opposition?
I think they're 2 different players, to be honest with you. Kulusevski last season, I would have said don't even bring him on because sign him up because he technically has just got turned into a donkey is the only word I could describe.
He can't hold the ball. He's so slow.
Old English donkey from the 90s. There were loads of them on the pitch with all those teared up fields where they always trip over their own feet. Lump the ball up to them. It really doesn't. That technical skills and ability for someone who's in his early 20s, I don't see it. I just can't see it. I know what everyone else sees, but I just don't see it. I don't see Kulu being the kind of player that we expected him to be, that technically gifted player. It looks to me like a donkey just come off Hackney Marshes.
We're coming to the end of our podcast now, Cam. Why don't you just sum up your thoughts and we'll do a pre-North London Derby show, but just give us your thoughts on the match and how things are moving forward. What's your projections?
Firstly, my view is that Newcastle needed this win. They didn't seem like their season was going to be going off. That's a lot of bad press. They've had a lot of bad things. And, when you're down, Eddie Howe needed something. And you know what? We gifted it to him again.
Dr. Tottenham is on.
And lifted up their spirits. It lifted up their team. And it showed us really the uphill struggle we already have coming in to this season. Now, I thought that the first few games that we've had, Everton, Leicester, Newcastle, we could have been top of the table around there because those are wins that you would expect any team that is challenging for trophies to win, right? If you're moving forward to do that. We haven't played apart from Newcastle, potentially haven't played it. I don't even see them as a top 6 team, to be honest. We haven't played a top 6 team yet. When we do, we'll get found out or we'll get thrashed nicely and plenty.
I mean, if we get beaten badly in the North London derby, do you think it could get toxic for Postecoglou? We'd be under a lot of pressure.
I
then?
think so. I think that's a game with just one too many, and I think that I can't see a poor Chelsea team not beating us twice. I can't see an excellent Arsenal team not beating us twice. I can see City beating us twice in their sleep. I can see Liverpool rampaging over us twice in their sleep. I can see Brighton. I think we might take a point off Man United because we're probably as bad as they are, if not worse. I can see Aston Villa beating us twice easily without even thinking. And I can see Newcastle doing the double too. I don't even see us beating Fulham at this stage. Do you?
No, it's going to be difficult unless things perk up a lot, unless Solanke has a purple patch. Let's close it then, Cal. Final thoughts, say a few things, and then we'll close the podcast. What do you want to say?
I mean, let's end on a positive. It's only been 3 games. Postecoglou's got a great plan for us that we don't know about yet, but he's going to bring it to fruition and we're going to win everything and win the league. But apart from that, I think that the same old Spurs is back. Let's look forward to trying to get into the top 6, trying to get back into Europa. Will we go far in Europa? No. Will we go far in the FA Cup? No. Will we go far in the Carabao Cup? No. Will we go far in the league? Well, we won't get relegated. And I think that's basically what our season is. Thank you.
Okay. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you. Bye.